Probably the biggest complaint about the newest Super Mario Bros. Wonder is that it's just too easy. Focusing more on unique moments and mechanics, rather than tough enemies and grueling platforming. Now, that doesn't mean there aren't times when you're going to struggle, and because of that, I had the idea for this video about the top 15 hardest levels in this fantastic Mario entry. I'll explain exactly why I think each stage deserves its spot, and what precisely makes it so difficult, whether it be platforming, hard to find items, or annoying enemies. And oh yeah, before we get started, my name is Copycat, and if you haven't yet, then please subscribe to my channel, hitting that bell to stay notified when I upload new videos. Coming in at number 15, and the first level we're going to look at in this video, is called Solar Roller, found within the game's special world, coming from the deep Magma bog exit. This one's all based around being turned into a spike ball via the Wonder Flower, needing to navigate through an obstacle course, having to perform some very precise jumps. Some of the hardest moments include needing to touch the timer blocks before the bricks you're on disappear, having to use the bouncy triangles while not falling into the void, and riding on the backs of dragons on your way to the Wonder Seed. The 10 flower coins are the toughest to get in this video, and I didn't die many times myself playing through this one, so I couldn't put it any lower. Next up at number 14 is Bounce Bounce Bounce, which is also a special world stage, found from the exit of Pipe Rock Plateau. Really, the hardest part about this level is trying to properly bounce off the giant hoppo so that it doesn't go flying off uncontrollably. A thing that took me quite a bit to master, losing many lives. When you finally do figure out how to properly maneuver on them, everything becomes much easier. Although, if you fall at all, you will die, so it's also not a walk in the park. I think if it was a bit longer, it would appear lower in this video. But unfortunately it's extremely short, so this is where it belongs. The High Voltage Gauntlet is up next in this video, as this Pedal Isle stage takes the 13th spot, as it's a very annoying experience, all based around having to avoid large zaps of electricity while moving around in a dark environment. Not only do you have to be patient and really take your time navigating through these obstacles, you also have to deal with the electrified, take-bow bamboo-like foes, getting in your way instead of being an enemy that you can neutralize and use to your benefit. There's nothing really else that's hard about this level, especially during the Wonder Effect where you turn into Metal Mario, but the darkness and many places you can take damage make it worth mentioning here. One lava-based stage that gave me tons of trouble during my initial playthrough of the game is called Wavy Ride through the Magma Tube, found within the deep Magma bog. Obviously what makes this one so tough is the lava, along with the moving platforms and fire spike enemies, needing to avoid their fast attacks, as well as ensuring you're on the right platform that isn't going to cause you to take damage. This definitely takes skill, as both the ceiling and floor are covered in the extreme hazard, so taking any damage at all will kill you. Also, the Wonder Flower leads you to a boss fight against a giant spike statue, having to get out of the way of the fiery boulders it sends hurtling towards you until it finally gives you the Wonder Seed. Just another hard moment in this level that made number 12 in this video. Next at number 11 is the Special World's Pole Block Allure stage, that's found through the Sunbaked Desert's alternate path. Of course, focusing on the interactable object, but also placing other things around the stage to get in your way. This includes the Armad enemies, who curl up into a ball and roll towards you, clouds that greatly obscure your view, and an auto-scroll setting that's pretty fast and will cause you to die quite a few times. The Wonder Flower effect kicks things up another notch, adding tons of poles for you to platform on, some of which appear and disappear incredibly fast. At one point you even encounter mumsies that can really slow you down. And when you get to the last part of the stage, things begin to really speed up. But as long as you're careful with your jumps, you should be okay. Another Special World stage, here coming in at number 10, is Dangerous Donut Ride, stemming from the path from the Fungi mines. Here, just having to progress downwards. This is done either with the aid of a long donut block, or during the Wonder Effect, you just straight up freefall, with tons of enemies wanting to damage you, and moving ooze that can instantly kill you. I'm only putting this in the middle of my video, as I did lose tons of lives trying to figure it out, but on the flip side it is very short, so I think it deserves to be where it is. At number 9 we have the final level of World 6, named the Deep Magma Bog Palace. Having to make your way to the Bowser Jr. boss fight by getting through some tough rooms filled with hazardous ooze. At times, enemies pop out of thin air because of Bowser's use of the Wonder Flower, which are mainly lava bubbles that sort of resemble Fry Guys, who spit fireballs at you in all directions, which can be incredibly hard to avoid while platforming. Once you do make it to the course's end, becoming a Wubba along the way, you then have that boss fight against the corrupted Bowser Jr. to deal with, where he shrouds the stage in darkness, and you need to jump on the weird living platforms to avoid him. At times, he even splits into multiple versions, really having to pay attention to who's the real one, as his real version is the only one who will take damage. One of the strangest levels in the entirety of Super Mario Bros. Wonder is the Way of the Goomba, found also within Special World, where here you're transformed into a Goomba, where you have to use its limited abilities to get to the seed. You can at least walk over spike things, including thwomps, and can hide behind trees, which protects you from taking damage. But you really can't jump at all, so you have to rely on other things to cross gaps. This includes bubbles from the bluebirds near the end of the stage, where I kid you not, I died dozens of times not being able to properly bounce off them, getting super frustrated in the process. Heck, I even lost a few lives needing to bonk off this Goomba at the very beginning, just to start the level. Although, I'm not putting it any lower, as it sort of becomes repetitive after a while, and sort of already done. One stage that's made incredibly difficult due to the enemies within it is the Special World Triple Threat Deluge stage that comes from the Shining Falls exit. Here you have to deal with a trio of souped up Lakitus, throwing gigantic spike balls at you, which can be tough to dodge as at times they fly randomly towards you and bounce off of objects hitting you. During the Wonder Flower effect moment, you're forced to enter the top-down view while also needing to deal with these pesky foes and annoying fire bars, using the spike balls as a way to break the bricks to move forward. I had a lot of trouble avoiding the hazards in this state, which caused getting all the 10 flower coins to be quite a challenge, especially if you aren't powered up. One of my favorite levels in the entire game, coming in at number 6, is also quite hard, which is the Special World's Climb to the Beat, coming from the Fluff Puff Peaks exit, here needing to progress upwards to get the seed. This is all while staying above the rising lava, but also waiting for the bricks to appear in front of you, where going to the beat of the song is key in surviving this. This is probably one of the most pinpoint necessary jump levels that Nintendo's ever made for a mustachioed hero, where in some instances you need to wall jump literally off one single brick. Also, the 10 flower coins are placed in basically impossible spots to recover from, but at least you just need to touch them, as long as you die you do claim them, but you do need to finish the level during the same try. Next up in the 5th spot of this video is the final uncharted area, Poison Ruins of the Fungi Mines. Here coming across an area full of rising ooze, needing to use various different things to platform upwards and stay above it. There are enemies like the Adamoways that kick Koopa shells at you, and paratroopers that really do get in your way to trying to progress to the flagpole and getting one of the Wonder Seeds. But for the other, you have to do something rather complicated. This all takes place while in Wubba form, needing to enter the cavern above the flagpole to find an ooze-filled obstacle course where, trust me when I say, it's very easy to die. Here you also have to trigger blocks so that they move and open up pathways, at times riding those blocks through very tight corridors where you can easily touch the ooze and die. During the last part, you have to jump on rotating, cylindrical obstacles, again triggering each tulip you come across to uncover the Wonder Seed. Something that isn't difficult to do, but at least hard to figure out. I know some people might say that I put this too low on the list, but I think its length and the amount of difficult things it has within it plants it safely here. After gaining every Wonder Seed in the initial Special World stages, you then unlock the semi-final test Piranha Prance Reprise level, having to make it to the end of this song while avoiding the many zany, wacky things that happen. This includes a relatively fast auto-scroll, tons of trodden piranha plants of all different sizes, a barrage of bullet bills, and spikes throwing, well, spiked balls, just to name a few. However, the place I had the most trouble is at the level's very end, as things speed up to a blistering pace, and you have to make some pinpoint accurate jumps between the moving trodden plants. Something that's not easy, even with certain badges, or the double note blocks that are on the floor at some points. Honestly, this level is very deceiving as it seems like it should be easy, and starts off rather simple, but then gets needlessly hard. Although with some practice and many lives, it is doable. Coming in the bronze medal spot of this video is the final main level of the game in the final battle, Bowser's Rage stage. Having to make your way towards the castle boss, going through some very dangerous hazards along the way. This is also an auto-scroller, just to add the cherry on top. And there's many instances with the wonder effects where if you make the wrong move, you just lose a life. Honestly though, in comparison to the past final Bowser Castle stages, this one is one of the easier ones. But in Super Mario Wonder, this level is actually one of the more difficult, especially as there aren't really any power-ups to get. Also, with the fight against the hardest and final boss of the game, Castle Bowser, this level instantly shoots up to the top 3. As it really is no cakewalk, and actually takes quite a while to defeat this version of the King Koopa. The mechanics to beat him all revolve around using the rhythm launching platforms to propel upwards and defeat his hands, eventually leaving his head open for an attack. If there's one specific thing this game sorely lacks, it's good boss fights. But at least this last one doesn't disappoint. Coming in as the second hardest level in this video is Special World's Wonder Gauntlet. Unlocked once you've beaten that semi-final Piranha Prance Reprise stage. Here you go through a culmination of the toughest Wonder Flower moments in the entire entry. Having to navigate down a tight corridor of ooze while time dilates, and birds and bubbles try to get in your way. Needing to escape from a swarm of noshers that eat away at the entire stage just behind you. Get through the section shrouded in darkness, full of sproings and sugar stars that need to be carefully maneuvered around. Needing to ride the block ship where you have to avoid the lightning strikes while using the cannon to clear your path. And finally trying to outrun the dark matter rifts that can kill you. Although, that last part is made easier if you just use a superstar. It's really the length and difficulty that's put together that makes this one of the hardest levels. But honestly, nothing even comes close to the number 1 spot. However, before we get there, here are some honorable mentions. Really, without a doubt, the hardest level in the entirety of Super Mario Bros. Wonder is the final test Badge Marathon stage, which only unlocks in Special World once you've collected every Wonder Seed, gathered every 10-piece flower coin, and touched the top of every single flagpole. Nintendo really went all out with this stage and created what probably is the toughest 2D level to date, needing to use the different abilities of the badges you've gotten over the game to complete it. I spent countless lives trying to beat this insane challenge, with little help as there's barely any power-ups, jumps where you can easily fall into the void, and checkpoints only show up every 3 rooms, meaning there's going to be a lot of replaying here. The sections you encounter that are very tough include using the parachute cap to float downwards, triggering the tulips to lower the ooze on your way, needing to use the floating high jump and navigate an accordion lift through the oozy hazards, using the dolphin kick to get through an underwater section full of electrical bolts, having to use a combination of the crouching high jump and zip tracks, which took me a long time to perfect, getting through a wall climb jump section, at times needing to use the aid of the seeds spit from the melon piranha plants to make the jumps. Oh yeah, and the ooze is slowly rising there, and there's spark enemies moving on most of the platforms. There's my least favorite part where you have to use the spring feet badge, as there's fire bars in this section that rotate incredibly fast, so if you aren't powered up, then every jump needs to be perfect as you can't take any damage. There's the section where you need to use the Jet Run badge to solve a really cool but very complex platforming puzzle. There's the Grapple Vine section with many hot rocks and spike hazards in very awkward places. And finally, the Invisible section, which can be hard if you aren't confident in making quick movements in this state. I do love when Nintendo creates levels like this in their games, but it always leaves me wanting more, especially in a rather simplistic game like this one. Alright, that's gonna be it for today's video, guys. I really hope you did enjoy this one. If you did, please leave a like, comment below what you thought about it, and of course subscribe to my channel. Also, please follow my Instagram at Copycat Gamer. There I upload some cool clips and items from my collection that you won't see anywhere else. Hope you guys all have a good day, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!